Hello students, in this lesson let us see what is a permanent way and what are the requirements of a ideal permanent way. To get started with, permanent way is nothing but your railway track. In common terms, if you want to tell, the track what you have is nothing but the permanent way. Now why the name permanent way is given is because once the track is laid, it is permanently there and removing it is very difficult. That's the nature of the track is a of a permanent type. That's the reason the name permanent way is given. So in general terms, what is a permanent way? A railway track on which the rail moves. So it's a track, or you can also call it as a rail road. Like we have roads for our vehicles in which we move, like the two-wheelers, four-wheelers, that's called a highway. So similarly for rails, we need to have a particular way, and that particular way is called a railroad, or it's also called as a permanent way. So if you want to write the exact definition, so the exact definition of the permanent way is as follows. So the railway track of permanent nature which handles the normal rail traffic regularly. So this is the actual definition of the permanent way. But in general terms, it's called as a railway track or a rail road. Now, this railway track or the permanent way consists of many things, or it is, you can say, the combination of many things. So, out of which the major ones are the rails, sleepers, ballast, fixtures, and fastenings, and so on. So, the combination of all these things will give you a permanent way. So the more details of the components of the permanent way we'll see in the next lesson. For now, you just understand the meaning of the word permanent way. Now, what does permanent way do is, it will enable the train to move by providing a dependent surface for their wheels to roll upon. Because as I said, trains cannot move on the roads because of the way they are built, and because of the speed also they cannot move. So we have to give the permanent way so that we enable the train to move on it. So enables trains to move by providing a dependable surface, and also this movement is safe and quick. So permanent way should provide with a safe and quick movement of the train. Understood. Now we'll see what are the ideal requirements of a permanent way. Requirements means what? The permanent way should give us all those things. Only then we can call the permanent way as an ideal one. So there are many points. We'll discuss one by one in brief. So the first one is, the gauge of the permanent way should be uniform and correct, and it should not get altered. Gauge should be what? Uniform and correct. So gauge is nothing but the distance between the two rails. So more detail of every word what we have here we'll study further. For now you just know what are the ideal requirements. So first requirement is what? The gauge of the permanent way should be uniform, correct, and it should not get altered. Now second requirement is, both the rails should be at same level on tangent portion of the track. Both the rails what should be on same level. Third requirement is that a proper amount of super elevation should be provided whenever there is a curve or whenever the railway track is encountering with a curved portion, then a proper super elevation should be given to the outer rail when compared to the inner rail. So that is also one of the requirement of an ideal rail. Okay. So the fourth point is the permanent way should be sufficiently strong against lateral forces. So if there are any lateral forces against that, it should be strong. So strong against lateral forces. So if there are any horizontal lateral forces like this coming, they should prevent it. Next, the fifth point. Whenever there is a curve which is provided in the way of the rail, we have to make sure that the curve is properly designed. Okay, so the curve should be properly designed. Next, the sixth one is whatever gradient we give, no, it should be even and uniform throughout the track. So we should not have much undulations. We have to make sure that an even and uniform gradient should be provided throughout the length of the track. Even and uniform gradient along the track length. Next point, seventh point. The tractive resistance of this track should be minimum. So what do you mean by tractive resistance? It is nothing but the resistance offered by the steel rail to the free movement of the train. So we know that the rails are normally made up of steel, right? So that should give you or offer you a very free movement of the train. So in that case, what we should have, the tractive resistance should be minimum. If the tractive resistance is more, the train will not be able to move freely on the permanent way. So that is also one of the requirements. Next is that the permanent way should provide a good amount of elasticity. Now this should be provided because it will prevent the harshness of impact between the rails and the moving wheel. So whenever a train is moving on the railway track, if there is no proper elasticity given, then there will be impact of the movement of the train wheels onto the rails. So we have to make sure that a proper and an adequate amount of elasticity is provided to your permanent way. So what? Provide adequate elasticity. Then moving on to the next point, your permanent way should be designed in such a way that the load coming onto it is evenly distributed to both the tracks. So load is evenly distributed on both rails. Okay, now if it doesn't happen, what will happen? It will lead to settlement. If you are not uniformly distributing the entire load onto the rails, what will happen? There will be unequal settlements, and hence the rail will not have its functionality intact. So we have to make sure that the load is evenly distributed. Next, the 10th one is the joints. So all the joints should be properly designed. So one rail and other rail, after certain length, they are provided with joints. So these joints should be properly designed, or else there will be chances that there will be derailment. Understood? Next, all the components of the permanent way should be properly designed. So as I told you previously, a permanent way is made up of what all things? Your rails, sleepers, ballasts, subgrades, fixtures, fasteners. So many things are there as a component part of your permanent way. So all these component parts should be properly designed. Even if one is not properly designed, there will be chances that your permanent way will fail and you will not have a ideal permanent way. Okay. Moving on to the next point. So your fasteners and fixtures such as your chairs, bearing plates, fish bowls, spikes, all those things should be strong enough so that they can withstand the stresses that are coming onto the track. So they should be strong to take care of the stresses that are coming onto the track. Next is something called points and crossings. These also should be properly designed and constructed. See, there are many terms which are new for you. For now, you just remember them because each and every term will deal in detail in the upcoming lessons. So, for example, here we have points and crossings. So, we have a lesson wherein we'll see what are points, what are crossings, everything related to points and crossings will be seen. Okay. Next, moving on to the next point, the 14th point. This is a very important point. Wherever there is level crossing, proper fencing should be given. So what do you mean by level crossing? The best example is your railway gate. Between road, if you have a rail which is passing, you will have railway gates, right? So that whenever the train is coming, the railway gate is closed. Gate is nothing but the fence, and you can have a proper crossing. So this is also a very important thing when you're designing a permanent way. You have to take care of. Next point is what? Proper drainage facility. So it should be provided with proper drainage facility so that the drain off will happen whenever there is a rain occurring or whenever there is some water which is coming onto your railway track. Okay, then the 16th point. So if there are any bridges and crossovers which are coming over to your railway tracks, they have to be properly designed with the head spacing and all. We have to take care of that. Then the track should be constructed in such a way that repair and renewal of any portion will happen easily without any difficulty. Okay, so repair and renewal should be made easy. So in that way, you have to construct your permanent way. So these are some of the important or ideal requirements of your permanent way. Hope you understood what are the ideal requirements of the permanent way and what is a permanent way. In the next lesson, we'll see what are the components in detail, all these components we'll see, and how a cross section of your permanent way will look. That also we'll study. Okay, thank you.